And welcome to the replay of the round 22 AFL clash from the SCG between the top two teams on the AFL ladder. First versus second, with tops one up for grabs. The Sydney Swans, first place right now. No changes at selection. Mitch Morton will start as the sub. Up against the Hawks, who are hunting down top spot. The Hawks do have a few big guns back. Josh Gibson into the lineup. Sam Mitchell also back, but Lance Franklin, arguably the best player in the competition, back after 6 weeks on the sidelines. Let's go to the action.
Lewis Jetta, who's been getting tagged. There we go, Teddy Richards on Franklin. But Jetta's been getting tagged a little bit. It looks like Jace just a match up with Lewis there. I think, don't know whether they've set anyone for Jetta or not.
I dare say Jordan Lewis won't be letting him get goal side.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. And we do believe there'll be a run width in the middle for the Swans. So we'll just try and pick that up, whether that's someone running with Mitchell. Looks like Keith's on Mitchell. Not sure there'll be a run width roll.
And we're underway with a free kick straight away. And straight away it's Kennedy with the clearance. The same old, but Pike dives, can't mark it. Hits the deck. Stratton, a bouncer. Jetta. Keith. And now Kennedy back to full forward. LRT down there. Thumped away from him. McVeigh wants to pounce. Ball rolls away from him, but the ball in.
Got away with a little bit of a jumper pull there.
You saw it stretched,
Thompson,
didn't you?
Yeah, surprised the jump. I didn't see that. But
Gibson on to Goods and Schoenmakers on to Reid. No surprise with those matchups.
Mumford Hale. Lewis. Unkind bounce. Hodge hugs the boundary. He hugs it well enough to allow it to stay in. Franklin thought about taking it on and then thought about taking it out. And it's good to see him back. Yeah. 6 weeks off. Buddy's back. Hale. Mumford wins this. Brust. Plenty of traffic around. Mitchell squeezed out a handball, grabbed by Matner. McVeigh short. Tumbling ball, terrible ball. Birchall cuts it off and pumps it, hoping for Franklin. Almost had a good piece of it. Puopolo took them on, gave it away. Richards. Matner. Bruce drags him down. Could have been ball. Didn't appear to dispose of it legally. Free kick's been found. The umpires, by the way, today, Chris Donlan, Steve McBurney and Dean Margetts. And Chris Donlan was 3 metres away from that one.
We just saw Marty Matner at that last stoppage come right up at the stoppage. Generally, he's been playing loose back. So it looks like they want to squeeze the Hawks, but that's going to expose Teddy Richards one out to Franklin, as we saw when that ball came in.
Few free kicks being paid early. Umpires trying to set an early standard. But you think Lance Franklin, I know there's been a lot of talk, would be happy to have had his hands on the ball, at least, even though he didn't get a stat. Always nice to touch it early. The conditions are pristine.
I think he'd also be happy there, Jace, too, that it was a one-on-one contest.
Yeah.
Looks like the Swans are going to roll the dice and try and squeeze the Hawks. Now, the downside of that is if the Hawks get through, it will be one-on-one. Nice mark by Pike.
That's a couple of times he's got away from Stratton early.
To Jetta, and now Goods lurking and troubled them to O'Keefe. And he's one of their underrated, in some respects, superstars, Ryan O'Keefe, but he is now the 5th greatest game player in Swans history. That's how good he's been.
And he's very good overhead too, so just a good matchup, that one-on-one deep against Lewis.
Pressure, but he eats pressure. First goal for the Swans.
Not really sure what Jordan Lewis was trying to do at that marking contest. He was more worried about Adam Goods. He thought Goods was coming in with the fly over the top. And you see that he actually braces for contact with Adam Goods. If you keep an eye on Jordan Lewis, once the ball eventually comes in, you'll find that he's worried about Adam Goods. This is the build-up with Pike getting the ball in quickly, gets it to Jetta. But then you'll see he's worried about Goods, and he leaves O'Keefe over the back, who takes an uncontested mark.
I think the other one that's fascinating is Lewis Jetta, who set that up. Looks like Lewis is basically running around without a tag today, so that's probably been the first time for a couple of weeks that that's happened.
Hale and Mumford resume hostilities. Hodge to Whitecross. Bounces straight through Shaw. Gunston. Tap on. Young. Sewell. Tough ball to gather. Richards right with Franklin. Again, he gets his hands on it, but again, he can't get a possession. Malcheski turns it over. Young.
Got Roughhead one out if he gets it down there quickly.
In his direction. Can he get the jump at it? Oh, Hale almost stole it from Roughhead.
Yeah, they both should have won.
Yeah, it wasn't great by Hale, was it? It looked like Roughhead had Grundy absolutely beaten there, and Hale came back over the top. Watch it here.
Which is okay, but Hale should have marked the footy.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly.
Mumford flicked down. Malcheski wrapped up. Mumford slick. Bird, Jack. Sean Makers.
It'll be a fascinating contest, that Sean Makers versus Reid. Looking forward to that one.
Birchall.
He's been better this year, Sean Makers, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's improved.
He's improved
He's
a
really
lot.
improved.
Yeah, credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But he can't make amends for last year's finals until this year's finals in some respects. Franklin pounces, took them on, but he had no prior opportunity, if you know what I mean. And Smith's rolled that across the face, but it was out of play. It has been a soap opera, the Lance Franklin soap opera. He's been out for 6 weeks. Hamstring, car accident, flu, rumours. He lost his licence in between all that as well. From the flick down. Bird kick smothered. Lewis kept it low. And Gunston just told not 15 won't matter. Does matter. Roughhead hits the post.
Explain to me again, Roosie, why blokes want to kick it along the ground.
No idea.
Just explain it to me, because I can't.
Well, that's a goal. That's a giveaway goal.
Yep, and he's given it away.
He's given it away
along the ground.
Absolutely.
Goods has gone for the boundary according to the umpire. Crowd not happy with that.
Here it is here. Oh, boy. Yeah, you're right. Not sure.
It's perhaps my greatest frustration in the game at the moment.
Roughhead attacked that nicely but couldn't bring it down. LRT, speaking of attacking it well. O'Keefe to Malcheski. Smith caught. Sewell picked his pocket, got a kick, and it ricocheted off Shields, and it's out of play.
Yeah, no one's shirking at the moment as Clarko looks on, but certainly bodies over the footy, heads down, clean with the hands both sides at this early stage of the game.
Great atmosphere here at the SCG. Every seat filled. Standing room only, and the footy gods have turned on a beautiful afternoon for this. Kennedy to the outer side. Goods with Gibson. Gibson also back into the lineup this week after an ankle injury. Mitchell's also back in after a calf problem, and we've spoken about Franklin being back. And look at that, a sea of faces loving our beautiful game.
I think it is Craig Bird too running with Mitchell as we see Mitchell go for the ball now. Bird's there and behind him, so it looks like a hard tag. Bird, Mitchell.
And Bird gets it in the end.
Also looks like Jack and Hodge are running together.
Yeah.
Burgoyne turns it over. McGlynn wrapped up, dragged down. Good pressure at the moment. Burgoyne, Shields, a slip, and that's what pressure can do. Ball in.
There's no time and space out there at the moment for either side, so really good defensive pressure from both sides.
Top spot up for grabs for the victor. Prizes don't come any better than this. McGlynn for the home and away season at least. And this could well be a finals preview, or a grand final preview at that. There's a chance these two could even meet twice in the finals. They could meet week 1. Hale took it out of the air, has to get rid of it, dropped it. Guerra taken to the deck, no prior opportunity.
They can't even get a handball away at the moment, Jace. That's how much pressure. Every time someone gets the ball around the stoppage, they're jumped on by an opponent.
And they love keeping their sweeper back. Ted Richards is just playing loose right behind the ball at the moment. You've got Franklin having a spell, and another forward pushes up, so he'll just sit back. So they've always got the deepest sweeper in defence, the Swans.
Umpire let that go an enormous amount of time. Smith almost had a rare shot at goal.
I think the interesting thing there, Jace, for Teddy is if Buddy's going to come off a few times, I would suggest Teddy will need a rest as well. So it's interesting that he's staying on the ground while Buddy's having a spell. Now, I know Buddy hasn't played for 6 weeks, but he's still a really good aerobic player, and he will run Richards around if he can.
McVeigh tried to drop himself into a high tackle there. The umpire was wise to it.
So what happens with Richards sweeping behind the ball, it means Hawthorn have got 1 extra at the stoppage.
Yeah.
But if you win the ball at the stoppage and you just bomb it forward, you're going to be outnumbered. So if they win it, they've got to chain hand passes together and run the footy.
Flick down, Kennedy couldn't get his trademark clearances. turnover. Hodge.
It's as good as
Well, the
deliberate.
umpire has to be. If they've paid that for the last month, they have to keep paying it.
Oh, he's kicked that sideways to the boundary. There's always going to be a defensive kick, and I think that's Luke Hodge aware of the fact that Ted Richards is back sweeping, so got to go wide, got to go boundary side.
Adds more grey area to that rule. Craig Bird's free kick off the ball.
Yeah, I think they've been blocking a little bit. They're aware now, the Hawthorn players, that Bird's got Mitchell, so I suggest there's going to be a little bit of blocking off the ball to get Bird away from Mitchell.
To Malcheski. Lewis Roberts-Thompson from 4 deep. Sewell with the crumb. No prior opportunity again, so it'll be a ball up.
I think that'll be another tactic of the Swans too, Jace. Just get it in long, and if it's not a mark, it's a crumb, and just try and lock it in there like they have been in the last 5 minutes of this play.
Suckling. Mitchell. Not sure about that as a choice.
Yeah, a little dangerous.
Outside of the boot from Jack. Mummy. Mumford up. Travel to required 15. And he'll line up for Sydney's second goal.
Yeah, it's just a case of luck and fortune where the kick was going to land, but it was the Mitchell punch over the head. He was probably trying to go a little bit more boundary side of the contest, but he just knocked it back into the corridor.
Yeah, that's why it's so dangerous not to get your hand on the ball. You've got
just
no
take the
wings.
tackle.
Just take the tackle,
Yeah.
or just handball it out, towards the boundary line without it going over. But you just don't, when you're flicking it over your head like that, you just don't know what's around you.
8 goals for the season so far, and the goal umpire did not move.
Yeah, look, just a lucky kick, but Kieran Jack, you see here, this is the one here, Mitchell just hits it over his head, and it goes to Kieran Jack, and just a little chip kick in. I'm not sure he was going towards Mumford, but just the size there of Mumford over the top of Suckling, and a nice mark. And Mummy now is a lot fitter than obviously when he's the start of the year, and a nice finish. And now we see Franklin back on, and Richards hasn't had a spell. Franklin has, so certainly that'll, by the end of the day, as I said, even though Franklin hasn't played for 6 weeks, that may fall into Franklin's hands, the fact that Teddy's not getting a spell.
McVeigh wins the clearance, bounces it past Reed. Goods thought about knocking it on, gives it to McGlynn, tries to fend off, kneaded away. Suckling, Stratton, Young. Guerra had to wait. Sewell, pressure, turnover. Jack just hammers it across the face.
They just cannot get the ball out of their defensive 50, the Hawks, at the moment. That was the thing that happened in the Launceston game as well, Jay. So it's a real battle for them at the moment, getting it out of their defence.
Smith, with Goods, planning to shut him down, and that was his only option really in the end, just to take it out. Isaac Smith. Hawthorn, even though they'll take top spot if they win this game, they might still have to win again next week to stay top 2. Big finish to this 2012 season coming up. Regardless of the result here, it's going to be the other results that will play a role for the loser.
It's great to see that crowd you mentioned before, Dwayne, too. Huge crowd here, great atmosphere.
Sewell, kick smothered. Smith. Rough head. Brust from half-back. Gunston couldn't pick it up. Bird tried to slip out a handball. That's thrown out.
Absolutely thrown.
Umpire was blindsided, and now he'll probably have to ball this up at some stage.
Now we're seeing Marty Matten, and now that Franklin's back on, we're seeing Marty Matten as the one that drops off. It'll be interesting to see if the Hawks elect to push another forward into their forward 50 to keep Matten accountable.
7, 8 people around the ball, some waiting for it to come out. Umpire giving them large amounts of time.
Yeah, particularly while they're not getting advantage at the stoppages.
No.
They've got to send one back and just play it on even terms, because otherwise the ball's going to rebound too quickly.
Yeah.
Neither side's had much control at this stage, guys. Only 4 marks apiece, so the game's been played absolutely in close in the contest.
And in fact, at the moment, they've each got an extra at the stoppage, and both teams have a spare in defence.
Birchall, kick ricochets. McVeigh to Jetta.
It's a clever kick.
Reed and Schoenmakers a knock on. Didn't want to go too hard to the boundary and make it obvious. Hodge flicks it out. Mitchell, Shields. Attack from Gunston. Bounced off his boot. Hanbury got one for too high. Play on advantage. Shaw pumps it in the Goods direction. Gibson, Goods, off hands.
Yeah, good one-on-one contest. Good effort by Gibson there on Adam Goods. Just probably not quite to his advantage, that kick coming in.
Burgoyne to Lewis. Made it tough for him, but he kept his feet. Kennedy went to ground. Hale in position 1A. Up. Can't mark it. Pike just got in the hole well. Puopolo. Sewell, boundary line looming. Kept it alive, and it works. Puopolo to Shields. Didn't have a lot of time, didn't spend it wisely. Shaw to Bird, and now the Swans are away. Hanbury, short to Goods on 50. Maybe within range. Reed wants it. It's a floater. It's an impossible ball to mark, and had he been a defender, that might have been deliberate.
I think the problem there was that Reed started to go and then he doubled back. Yeah, just as Adam was about to kick the ball. And then we see Burgoyne there. Nice bump on Craig Bird.
Lewis almost held before he gathered that. Birchall to the line. McGlynn, ex-Hawk, of course.
Sydney pressure's been excellent. Yeah. They haven't given the Hawks any time to breathe, and they're just really playing the game in their forward half of the ground at the moment.
44 games for the Hawks, in fact. Ben McGlynn, a couple of seasons now for the Swans, and played every game again this season bar one. Fantastic contributor. Richards, free kick would have been Malcheski's. It is going to be Malcheski's. It was an advantage. So he hands to Grundy, who could go for goal. He sent us to Goods on the run. Not quite the half volley. Stratton. Birchall. Schoenmakers with poise. Burgoyne with the left hand. Whitecross. Only has one-on-ones to go to. So to the Puopolo Shaw one-on-one. Gee, Shaw disadvantaged there by the play on call. Over the head of Mumford. Works for Hale. Mumford, good tackle.
Hale made a mess of that. They should have been away, the Hawks, and now they're in trouble.
Mumford, turnover. It's pressure possession after pressure possession at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Hawks just can't get it outside at the moment to hit their targets. Even that one there, that should have been a better effort to Franklin.
Franklin giving directions for the next possession before he took the first one. Hodge, top of the square. Puopolo there. Sure, it's been a good battle.
Yeah, the matchups at the moment, just looking at the Swans' favourites. Obviously early days, but good matchup there. Shaw, Puopolo. They're just through the midfield. There's no time and space at all for the Hawks.
Grundy. Now Chesky, and Richards is waiting for it. Goods is on the wing. Gibson with him, one-on-one. And it bounces. Get a ball in, and right now it's living up to all expectations.
Yeah, they wouldn't be unhappy with the scoreboard, the Hawks, I wouldn't think at the moment, Jace, because they just haven't looked like getting into the game, but they're only sort of 2 goals down. They really haven't had too many scoring opportunities. No,
but one thing to bear in mind, though, is they are the #1 scoring team for the season, averaging 124 points a week. We're approaching, you know, the latter stages of the first quarter. They got 1 point on the board.
Yeah.
Some numbers are bent, warped a little with the 2 bottom teams in the competition this year, giving up big scores on occasions. But everything counts in this one.
A lot of fumbles from the Hawks early too. Yeah. That's just a sign of the pressure that Sydney's been applying.
And if you look at this stoppage here, if we look at it from a wider angle, you can see that Sydney have pretty much got all the outlets covered. So you've got Bird at the back, you've got Kennedy in front, now you've got O'Keefe working around the back, and here's Hanbury at the other side. So it is really, really difficult for the Hawks to get it outside because of the outlets are all covered from the Swans midfielders.
Brad Sewell signed a new deal to be a Hawk for life this week. Back into play. Kennedy. Parker, a little too slick there. Flicked out. Hale. Birchall. Hodge finds some space where there was none. Matner. Good grab. Shaw.
And this is where Hawthorn hasn't been able to apply the same pressure, and the Swans have been able to create space, get an overlap, and then move the ball forward.
Grundy got it from Malcheski. A little fumble. Shaw ran to support. Jetta. Burgoyne thumps it clear.
I think also, Jace, that kick from Hodge going in, you're going to do better than that, because Marty Matner's a really good player. That he's not super tall, but he can read and he can fly for the high ball. We see him back behind this stoppage again, filling space in front of Franklin.
Yes, they've got a couple down there who are very high up on the AFL's list of intercept marks in the competition. Parker. Off hands Reid. Hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Feeds it back. Kennedy gets out of the tackle.
Oh, look at Craig Bird in the corridor all on his own. No fault of Kennedy's. He had to make a snap decision.
Yeah.
Another ex-Hawk playing for the Swans, of course, Kennedy. Young used his speed. Now needs to use it.
And then just ran into trouble.
Yeah. Lewis.
Complete lack of awareness, Jace, isn't it?
Hodge. Double teamed.
Why you wouldn't kick with that momentum going forward seems strange.
Well, there is some one-on-ones there too, because if you look at the screen here, they're all one-on-ones.
Kick it to a one-on-one, that's fine. That's all the forward wants.
Kennedy, another clearance. Stratton. Boundary line was his friend there. David King downstairs.
Just having a look at the numbers here, this is an absolute final at the moment. We've had 37 to 30 contested possessions in favour of Sydney. That's 67 in total. That's outnumbering the uncontested possessions. Everything means something here to the Swans, playing it in tight and tough.
Kennedy slips it to Malcheski. Tried to shrug a tackle and then lost it. O'Keefe, Grundy. Caught by Young and he just dumped it. Brust. Another fumble. Whitecross makes amends by mopping up his little mess. Gone though. Took too long, and that emphasises the point we've made
in
this opening term.
That was a great tackle by Nick Smith, one of the better tacklers in the team. And the Swans just, again, no time and space at all for Hawthorn.
Matner. Johnson. Everybody takes a breath. Big pack forms, no one can mark it. Roberts Thompson off the deck. Lewis, clever to Birchall. Too wide though, and it'll be Malcheski's ball. The Swans can reload.
Well, it's the most uncertainty we've ever seen, I think, for the season, with Hawthorn trying to run the ball out of the fence. That's a poor kick coming back in, but they just shell-shocked by the pressure.
They just seem to be hanging onto the ball a fraction too long at the moment, Jace, because every time they're indecisive, they get tackled.
Birchall floats one. Johnson with the fist. Little nudge. Crowd wanted a free. Bird gathers regardless. Malcheski. Hanbury. Swans with all the answers right now. Shaw. Reads his target. He's up and he's got it. Great stretch. Fantastic hands.
That's a terrific mark. If we see it again, he really used his strength and pushed him off. Here it is here, and then reaches back over his head to mark the ball. Great mark.
Important kick for Sam Reid, because he's a confidence kicker, and if he can start hitting the target, well, the Swans now open up a very handy break.
27 goals, 16 this year. But he has had some goalless games. Strikes that okay. Not well enough.
Just didn't strike it with a lot of conviction. It was more a push in that direction rather than really kicking through the footy.
11 of his games this year has been held to under 10 possessions, Sam Reid.
15 to 7, the inside 50s in favour of the Swans.
Hale. Good slap down from behind by Matner. Kept that ball alive. Bird to Jack. To Reid. Gets another chance.
Well, The thing that's standing out for me at the moment are the number of times the Hawks have fumbled when they've had the ball and fumbled the ball out of the contest. Hale did it then on that occasion, straight into the hands of a Sydney Swans player who then has time to deliver the footy.
Yeah, they're really indecisive at the moment. Obviously, the Swans are putting on an enormous amount of pressure.
So 74% the probability for all players from this point. He needed every bit of it, but he squeezed it in.
Yeah, they went for the long kick out, and you're absolutely right. I think one of the Hawks players did get hold of the ball, and here it is here. Long kick, trying to go to numbers, trying to be predictable, goes for the mark. There it is, a chance there, and you only need one chance, two chances. So the Hawks had two chances, Lewis and Hale, to get hold of the football, two fumbles, and the ball goes down the other end of the ground, and Sammy Reid finishes with a goal.
The major problem the Hawks have got at the moment, guys, is they average almost 100 marks a game, which is 25 a quarter. They've only taken 7 so far. There's just no control, no ball control there for the Hawks.
Well, got no time and space. That's what Sydney have closed down. Kingy is spot on. They're not allowing them to control the ball with uncontested possession.
4 minutes left in the opening term. Jack with the clearance. Bird about to pounce. Parker coming off a 26 possession game, proving his worth again week by week. Johnson, Hanbury, and maybe within range.
It's an important kick, this. Not sure he can make the distance, but I thought he was going to look to short pass it, but a lot of Hawks now back in defence.
They have dominated the quarter. They probably deserve to be 4 goals up, Sydney.
Yeah, they do.
It would reflect the state of the game, I think.
Started on the bench today, gets under that a lot. Huge pack.
Yeah, just tough distance for Dan Hanbury. He's a nice sort of shorter kick, not known for his long goal kicking. But here, look at the numbers here in the defensive 50. And you can see Teddy Richards in the background there, right at the back. So he's the last man for the Swans. So even if the Hawks get a quick kick out, Teddy's back there.
Well, there's 2 of them. You've also got Rhys Shawback, and this is where Hawthorn has to make an adjustment. They're going to have to back themselves one-on-one at the stoppages and keep an even number back, because when they do get that quick kick forward, they've got to have players there that can compete for it and actually hold the ball forward rather than just continually watching it rebound so quickly.
27 goalless minutes to start this game for Hawthorn.
Got Birchall straight up the middle now. And that's a really poor kick.
Gee, he had him early, Jace, didn't he?
He could have taken off up the
Ball
corridor.
should be in Hawthorn's 50, but that just shows you the indecision at the moment going through the Hawks' minds.
Brust.
They would certainly be looking forward to quarter time, and you're right, they're probably lucky to be only 20 points down if they go in 20 down.
Guerra, Burgoyne.
So you've still got options. I mean, they've opened up a little bit of space, but by being so slow with their movement of the footy, they've just allowed Sydney to close it down.
Gunston to Stratton now. He could have got and gone, but he fell over, and it's a turnover. McGlynn. Kennedy shut down. Extracts a kick. It won't be 15. It'll be play on. Shields, who laid the tackle, caused the turnover, gets a possession. Richards attacks it with Malcheski. They spoil each other. Lewis, handball not his finest. Then he drags Parker into the deck.
Called a dangerous tackle.
Even Lewis, who's normally one of those sure ball handlers, just panicked a little bit when he had the ball. I know he's under pressure, but the handball went absolutely nowhere.
Reid wants to fly. Didn't get the chance, and Gunston's lending a hand in defence and doing a good job.
18-7 inside 50.
That's a landslide, isn't it?
That is a landslide.
But for me, half of the I mean, that's just a terrible slip there of the footing for Stratton, but half of the reason is because they're outnumbered when they do, on the odd occasion, go forward, and the ball comes back so quickly. It's a great smother from Hodge.
Jetta still to make something of it. Malcheski. Lewis Roberts-Thompson heard the touch call. He wanted to play on, but he spent it before it earned it. Stolen back. Jack, left foot kick. Splendid. Amazing start, Sydney Swans.
Just giving him a lesson at the moment. I think a lesson in constant pressure, surging the ball forward, playing the game on your own terms, numbers around the footy and not allowing a team to play the way they want to play it. It looked like they were in a position here to clear it, Hawks. You saw some numbers, but again, a fumble. It went through the legs of Gunston, and then all of a sudden the Swans are there to mop up, and a terrific snap by Kieran Jack.
Yeah, they look completely shell-shocked at the moment, the Hawks.
Where is it? Right now there's a two-man forward line for Hawthorn.
I think they're just, obviously, a minute 13 to go, but there's just so many fumbles. You've called it a couple of times, Chase.
Shields maybe gets his chance and he sprays it. We saw the time in the forward half moments ago. It's been...
Well, he had to have the shot. He had to have the shot because there was
no one there.
There were no forwards there, but again, the quality of the kick was extremely poor.
There's plenty of time left in this game. An enormous amount of time left in this game. Pike.
Well, they've just put everyone behind the footy, the Hawks. They're shell-shocked. They want to reset at quarter time. And I suggest Ruzi Clark I'd have some significant structural changes to make it quarter time.
I think he does. 19 to 8. There it is in the box now. 19 inside 50s. They're on track for 80 for the game. So there certainly needs to be some changes.
Shields with the fist. When these two teams met earlier this year in round 5, there was a big transformation in the game at half-time. It was the Hawks that led and dominated the first half, and then Sydney came from 20 points down in the second half. Goods kicked 3 second-half goals, and they won by 37 points. Hawks will be hoping to do the same here, come from behind. They've had a horrendous first term, but it's about to be over. 19 seconds away.
Yeah, they certainly would be looking forward to quarter time as at the moment. All the matchups are in the Swans' favour.
Yep.
And that's not a coaching thing necessarily. It's just that the Swans players are playing a lot better at the moment than the Hawks players. So it really is, it's incumbent on the Hawks guys to really now lift. And Clark can give it as big a spray as he wants at quarter time, Jace, but it is up to the players now to say, okay, well, I know who my man is. I know he's grabbed me and he's beat me in the first quarter, but I'm going to bounce back in the second.
That's the key. Too many Hawthorn players are simply getting beaten on their merits by the opposition. And that's credit to the Sydney players. And you would know more than anyone, Ruzi, there's only so many things you can do from the coach's box. You're at the mercy of your players and the performances that they put in.
Absolutely.
Time clock, 3 seconds left. Probably not time enough for a quick kick from this and a mark. And a huge round of applause. Listen to that. 27 plays 1 at quarter time.
Yeah, we've seen Mitchell now. Looks like he's gone to the half-back flank.
Oh, that's something he's done actually very successfully at different stages, but Bird's gone with him.
Yep.
Hale with the palm, but he missed Hodge. Gathered by O'Keefe. He's a different man, Mike Pike.
He is. His hands have improved out of sight.
Yeah, they have.
Hands it off to O'Keefe. To the square. Reid gets the run and the pluck.
Look at
And 50, so he'll kick from the goal line.
Now, if there is a criticism of the Hawks, which has been all year, it is that high ball coming in, and we saw 2 coming in there. One, Burgoyne versus Pike. I mean, that's a tough matchup for Burgoyne, as we see Reid here. And then Reid takes a mark in the goal square. So that's where opposition teams, I suspect, would see the Hawks as vulnerable.
But what worries me, Ruse, is, and you watch the great hands here from Pike, so he's got the advantage, he plays in front. But when this long kick comes in from O'Keefe, it's still like a 2-on-2 contest in the goal square.
No
you've got
support.
Goods against Gibson, and you've got Reid against Schoenmakers. Where are the extras that are coming over the top?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, look, they're just not working hard at all at the moment, the Hawks, are they, really? Not working hard, no support down there. Great, it was a good effort by Adam Goods there just to hold Gibson off. Gibson, we know, is one of the best third-up jumpers, help his teammates, but when you're playing on Adam Goods, you can't really do that.
Mad scramble, players quick in from outside the square. McVeigh kept his feet to his own advantage nicely. Hanbury almost caught. Matner, Shaw, Swans with all the answers right now. Stratton forced the punch. Sewell, Shields, and he gets away. And it opens up now for Hawthorn. Lewis, Puopolo, run down, still got the kick away, but a push the kick to the pocket. Roughhead can't keep it alive.
Well, that's one of the few times they've had time and space, and it's just a poor kick coming in from Puopolo. Probably took an extra step, which put him under pressure. Wasn't able to get the ball back into the corridor.
Two ruckmen wrap up. Brust can't break free. He's got it. Trying to shovel it out. Umpire.
How long can you let
an enormous amount of time.
How long can you let it go for?
It's a bad look for our game, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Third man up, Lewis with the flick. Shields. Again, can't break free. Sewell tries to bash his way through traffic.
And you understand that they don't want as many stoppages, so they give it every opportunity to come out. But by doing that, you allow a bigger pack to form.
More numbers get there, you're absolutely right. It backfires at the end.
Cleared by Jack to the wing. Again, Pike. Only had 4 kicks last week.
Jetta down the middle.
In the game for them. Guerra fisted it away dangerously. Goods, Gibson both got there. Goods! Superstar start.
Touched off the ball.
Oh boy. Put his fist up, the crowd went up, the umpire was right on the spot.
It's classic Sydney Swans football this year, isn't it? Just that, get all the players up the ground, turn them around, Jetta running in, Goods running in. That's a real worry for Alistair Clarkson, that passage of play from the Swans.
And a sigh of relief for the Hawks. Guerra. Bruce dragged down, didn't get a chance at it. Roughhead to Hodge. Franklin, one-on-one. Gets there, can't mark, and he might be a little rusty. 6 weeks on the sidelines, and a few of those weeks unable to train. Smith, Johnson, Shaw. Burgoyne attacks it.
No, I did well too.
Sewell, handball smothered, Burgoyne back again. Whitecross, tough ball to mark. Impossible to mark if it's out on the full.
Dwayne, that's the problem at the moment at ground level here. You can see it, the Hawks, they just can't mark the ball in their forward half. They've taken 3 marks forward of centre for the entire game. By comparison, Sydney have taken 10.
And this is the possession they've got to stop, the easy one from here. They've got to man up and do a little bit to Sydney, what Sydney's been doing to Hawthorn in the first quarter.
Grundy to the wing, Mumford up, Hale the fist. Birchall handball a bit too slick for Guerra. Shields dumped. Mitchell in the thick of it. Unlucky not to get a free. Still in there. Umpire will sort it out. And we talked a bit about this game being for top spot, but for Hawthorn, they're not guaranteed top 4 just yet. And they've got West Coast next week. Here's this touched ball. Okay, it's a little indecisive, but the umpires are on the spot. Hawks have the West Coast next week. They wouldn't want to go down by a big number. Percentage is in their favour, but 2 losses could see them slip from the top 4. Hale. Franklin again went for the chest mark. Smith opens up the angle, breaks free, Weddle on the ground. Dangerous, but it's there.
Gee, it was a fantastic handball from Jordan Lewis. An absolute beauty.
And there aren't many people you want to see breaking into space better than Isaac Smith, because he's one of the few. He's got Matner chasing hard. It's interesting, Franklin tried to take it on the chest when he went for the big one. But have a look at the pace race here. I mean, Matner's quick off the mark, but Isaac Smith's one of the best runners for the Hawks. And again, gee, I'm glad that dribble kick went through. If it didn't, there would have been issues.
Yeah, great crumb, Jordan Lewis, and great handball over the top. And as you mentioned, Isaac Smith, good turn of speed and dribbles one through.
Games can turn. Goods, a goal that was disallowed for being touched, and now Smith against the flow. Kennedy kick smothered. O'Keefe gathered, caught too high, gets one, but it's play on advantage. Malcheski, Goods direction, gathers, went inside. Hanbury missed Bird. He had to go back and try and get it. Tapped away by Burgoyne cleverly.
a little bit more life about them now, the Hawks. Mitchell looks like he's really starting to throw himself around and get involved in this game. But they need, they need Sewell and they need Lewis. Lewis had a good game. He's had 11 possessions.
He's dangerous. They're leaving O'Keefe loose at the stoppages.
Mitchell with the clearance. Tipped by Malcheski. Hodges away. He wants Franklin to run onto it. It's a race. Franklin, Richards. Franklin used his body. Goes back. He's got 2 to beat now. And he misses.
That's a really bad miss, and that's someone that's missed a lot of footy.
Yeah, that is.
He actually had more time than he thought then.
He could have run into an open goal then.
Yep. But at least they're creating opportunities, so that is the first sign of life from a Hawthorn perspective.
Yeah, a lot of time, but just no talk perhaps around, just telling him to steady and kick a nice drop punt.
Parker can't mark it. It was right on the line. We'll get a ball in. 34 plays 8. John Longmire. It's his team now. There's a few players like Alex Johnson who've only played under John Longmire. Still quite a few left from the Roos era, but John Longmire maybe got to forge his own. Sewell, top of the square. Franklin. Richards right with him. Matner and Grundy. The old firm combine again. Jetta on the outer side. Guerra. He knows Jetta's lurking. Little nudge. Handball. Boundary line if he wants it.
He did that well.
Keeps it alive. Shields can't mark it. Off hands though, but it's a dangerous ball. Swans under some pressure for a change. Richards. Shows some poise. Could be coming back. Reed's got 3 to beat. Sean Makers, Birchall, a flick.
Throw.
Burgoyne back to Sean Makers. They get away with it. Shields can't mark. Hodge crumbs. Matner, arms free. O'Keefe.
Look out.
Bird, McGlynn, Parker, open space ahead. He might have to kick it himself. Looks up. He had the handball option.
Well done, Burgoyne.
Burgoyne, sensational.
Yeah.
Back to Suckling, to Sean Makers. And now it opens up for Hawthorn on the rebound. Guerra.
Got to hit a target with this kick.
Gunston from just inside 50. Sizes it up. And can't nail it.
Yeah, love to see that Burgoyne chase again. He came from the wing and ran straight across. Here he is here. Just a terrific effort.
And then butted up.
Yeah.
Game's all of a sudden opened up a bit in the second term.
Yeah, it has. Geez, Gunston need to do better than that. You called it, Jace, when he got the ball. He just was a bit of a nothing kick, wasn't it?
Sure. Mumford feeding back. Goods is down there. Gibson, fist. McGlynn loves these. So reliable, and the Swans get one back.
That's probably what hurts the Hawks the most. They've had a couple of gilt-edged opportunities. Franklin misses an easy one. Gunston should have either hit a target or kicked the goal. And then you get a half opportunity here. He's under pressure, just throws it on the left. That's a great snap from McGlynn. And it's the equivalent of a 2-goal turnaround.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Well, Gunston had plenty of time and space over the other side. He just didn't look like he was clear on what he was going to do. Am I going to have a shot or am I going to pass it? And he certainly did neither.
Every game but one again this year for the former Hawk. They've taken pleasure in that. Ben McGlynn and the ball up. Kennedy wrapped up. Had it stolen from him. Whitecross couldn't get a kick away. Back to Kennedy. #1 clearance player in the game again this year, Josh Kennedy. Matner flicks it wide.
Just see no fumbles in all that chain there.
Kennedy, he's had 3 possessions in that string. Sure. Jetta told to go, wasn't 15. Kick not so good. Hanbury made it okay. Gathered cleanly, finds Parker. O'Keefe. Top of the square. LRT! Mumford's ball, free kick, top of the square for the Swans.
Well, Kennedy's had 15 and O'Keefe's had 15, so they're the ones that are creating all sorts of problems. Hanbury forward, and their mids are just smashing them at the moment.
And this is for the biggest lead of the game.
I reckon there's more high contact there than holding.
Yeah.
Just a little clip under the chin.
So that's the percentage from this spot on this ground, all players, 56%.
Gee, you think it'd be better than that, wouldn't it, directly in front?
For a 37-point lead.
Looking very one-sided now, Roosie.
Yeah, look, it's simply a matter at the moment that the Swans mids are absolutely all over the top of the Hawks mids. And we see Ryan O'Keefe, possession number 15. Just a long ball in. A lot of problems for the Hawks defenders with the ball coming in pretty quickly. Not super delivery, but at the moment, the Hawks defenders look really shaky. Free kick there, just a...
He wore that right on the face.
The mush there. Just one in the melon.
Lance Franklin getting a rest. He's been rusty, out for 6 weeks, and the game's starting to slip away from Hawthorn. 7-2, the set of clearances.
Make it 8-2.
Pike in the ruck now, and he rolls one to half forward. Sewell gets there, but he's running the wrong way. Lewis Roberts-Thompson.
Even then, a fumble from Mitchell for a ball that he would normally pick up.
Goods given a free for being held, not in possession. He milked that, and he'll line up from just outside 50.
Geez, this is sloppy.
Takes off to Jetta, who loves to run and gun. He gets onto it, but it's across the face, slightly off hands. Parker didn't get a boot on it. It was across the line.
There's a lot of bad signs out there for the Hawks at the moment. Just Parker nearly running into an open goal. Mitchell, you could see what Goodsy was trying to do, and Mitchell just sort of let him get away with it. A handball across to Jetta.
They are almost at breaking strain, Hawthorn. Show and makers.
Yeah, they definitely need the next goal.
O'Keefe was trying to stop him because he knew he had a loose player out wide, which was Shields, so he wanted to cover off the side kick, but he was over the mark. Now, they've just got to make something happen out of this 4-8 forward. Got to kick it to a target or at least a one-on-one contest.
And he went for Sewell. It was over his head. And that sat on Whitecross, or maybe he went for Whitecross and...
Yeah, well, I think he was going for Whitecross, and that's a strange target in itself in traffic.
Sewell was the one that was free if he could hit him, but Whitecross is about to line up. But Franklin's back on now. He's just walked into the square.
It's in traffic, Jace, but it's also just on the 50.
He gets deep in there.
So even if he marked it, it was still going to be a tough shot at goal.
20 seconds gone, Brendan.
The players know how big this kick is. The crowd know. It's a 38-point margin right now. It's the biggest margin of the game. It might not have the carry. Is it touched? Behind.
And nothing going right for the Hawks at the moment. That actually looked like it was over the line, but
A couple of inches short.
yeah.
Grundy from Shaw.
Didn't look.
Turnover. Roughhead hasn't had a big influence yet. Sits it up in hope. Hale dragged off it, played for the free, didn't get it. Through some legs. Malcheski. Jack really motoring to try and get there. Burgon, he takes him on and then takes it away from him. To Pike. And it opens up again for the Swans. Hanbury, not a lot to go too long. Keeps it short, clever. Just flicked away by Schoenmakers, who was wise to it. Smith. Gibson to Mitchell. It's got Gunston out wide. He had to go to him. No one was in the square. Gunston has already had a sider from here. He's caught though. Puopolo. Shaw having a great game. Handballs it up. Now Chesky. Shaw little flick on. Mattner edged out of it by Brust. Through some traffic again. Sewell tries to push off. Unsuccessful. Now, did he have Pryor? Most think he did. He did.
All going
rise to it too.
All going Sydney's way at the moment. Just the little things. When your luck's in, they're playing very well and just getting the breaks.
I tell you, the Swans defenders have been outstanding. One-on-one.
Reed props. Smith the fist. Young. Tries to centre it. Didn't get much. And he didn't get any bend in the end. It's out on the full. Sure. But the Swans are taking us down Quality Street right now. If they keep this up, they'll be the premiership favourites for sure tonight.
Absolutely. They just haven't got it. It's 25-18 inside 50, so they've squared them up a bit more this quarter, Hawks, but they just haven't looked dangerous at all going forward. Their skills, which is normally probably the most skillful team in the competition, they've just been terrible going forward.
And that's also, I think, where you've got to pay kudos to Sydney defence.
Yeah.
They haven't allowed easy lead-up targets. Everything's been kicked to a 50-50 ball at best.
Lewis knocked it to Bird, gave it to McVeigh, kicks to half forward, off some hands. Well read by Guerra. Left his man, Lewis, Guerra, slick. Ran into a brick wall, Smith, Jetta, to his own advantage, and then to his disadvantage, ball in.
Well, you can't knock Brent Guerra there. He took the ball by the horns. He just attacked it, and in the end he ran out of options, but it was terrific, a terrific effort to try and turn defence into attack.
Mumford's free.
Getting a few, so he's obviously troubling them in the ruck stakes.
McVeigh, that's a 60-metre bomb. Lewis Roberts-Thompson backs back, so did Reid. And look, for all money, he was never going to be able to touch it, Reid, but he has that outstanding stretch. Hale, Smith, again the Hawks get their chance. Can they finish it? Mitchell, Franklin will win a free here against Richards.
Yeah, it didn't look like. He was pushing back on Richards. Richards was holding his ground, but he's probably been pinged for a hand in the back here. And this is a free kick that I really don't like. You know, you've got to be able to hold your position when a forward's pushing back on you.
Well, the ball was sort of going over Franklin's head. It's not as if Teddy was leaning on him, pushing him forward. It was the fact that Franklin was coming back on Ted. Again, not a great kick. It was with Mitchell coming through the middle there to Franklin. Not a great kick either there coming through from the Hawks.
So that's the probability, 40% from that spot on this ground. All players. Here's the free again.
Not a lot of it. Look, there's a hand on the back, but he's holding it. Holding his ground.
That's what he has ahead of him. He's bent it back. It's coming. It's there. But he's back.
Yeah, look, technically it's there. It's a hand in the back, and that's the rule they brought in. And whether you like it or not, it's there. So if you look at here, but again, not a great kick in. It wasn't a great kick to advantage. It was more probably to Teddy's advantage. And just a technical error there from Ted. Probably should have just put the forearm up, held him out, and then spoiled the ball. But that's a good finish, and that'll give Buddy some confidence. Certainly at the moment, the ball use going forward is not helping him.
52 for the season for Lance Franklin. More importantly, his first goal for months. Ball up.
Oh, another fumble.
Yeah.
O'Keefe inside 50. Gibson. Schoenmakers untidy. There's pressure on the kick. Turnover.
Well, that's the story of the game. A Hawthorn player in the middle. That was Mitchell, who doesn't usually fumble at all. But the story of the game, Hawthorn have been getting first possession, but they've been coughing it up so much in the first half of this game. And then Schoenmakers just kicks one out of bounds on the full.
Jack goes a little too wide as well. Or crunch. Hard fought mark for Suckling.
You really don't want Big Mummy crashing on top of you, do you?
I thought that pressure was in the mark, though. In the mark.
It looked like it. You're right. But obviously the umpire said he took the mark first, and then just a fraction late.
Into him.
Mumford barreled on top of him. Yeah.
They need to get a break. Suckling in game 50 tonight. Pumps it. Franklin hands on it. Almost Richards. Almost Puopolo. Gets it free. Lewis. Franklin on the left. Sidestep. Shrug. Kick smothered by Richards, who's worn him like a glove. Lewis dumped.
That was selfish by Buddy Franklin.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a guy, not sure who it was, but
Waiting for a handball.
see it outside.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a guy outside. Everyone else was prepared to handball around.
And even after he missed the first opportunity, he then went to fend and tried to snap it. When he's looking right at the player he could have handballed it to.
Yeah, not good that.
So he's paid in the back against Franklin.
Not sure that's in the back either. It's quietly.
Puopolo rolls it. It's clean bowls, Franklin. Grundy.
Interesting handball.
Oh, Burgoyne. Strong. Kicks. Goals. No need to tell you. They needed that.
I reckon Sean Burgoyne's shown us something tonight that we don't see that often. He's always been regarded as having silky skills and being a real smooth player. We saw him once down back be aggressive. Have a look at the way he attacks the footy here. He knows there's going to be body contact. He says, I'll ride this. I'm going through, and I don't care who's there. And that's just doing something that a team needs, an individual effort that can be team lifting.
Yeah, he's probably been their hardest player today. You're absolutely right. Not that silky smooth player, but hard.
You're right, guys. It has been his trademark. Minimal possessions, maximum impact his entire career.
I'll tell you what, John Longmire wouldn't have been happy with Heath Grundy's handball, though, just quietly. Just a little lob wedge over the top in the defensive 50.
And a clearance now for the Hawks. Lewis to Franklin.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you handle the ball cleanly in the middle and you kick quickly forward and give the forwards a chance to play in front?
They led by 38 points, the Sydney Swans, only minutes ago. This kick to cut it back to 19. And there's your probability again, 52%. So
it's also
flip of the coin.
Their first mark inside the forward 50. And I noticed that the club physio has been out with Sean Burgoyne.
They'll kick this from on the paint. Bends it back, strikes it okay, squeezed it in. Franklin has two, and it's a 19-point game.
I think it's also, Jace, their first sort of real centre clearance, effective one, clean one out of the centre. You mentioned the clean hands, and there's John Longmire. You can see him getting a little bit frustrated. Watch it here, first real clean hands, good. Not a great kick, but at least it's a deep entry, and it puts it into a dangerous area there. And look, not a lot of Teddy Richards could do there. Just a good contest and just playing against a very, very good player, and that's a good mark. But once again, taking on the chest, not in the hands, which is quite interesting.
I reckon that kick did a little bit of everything in the air. You can see the body language from Buddy Franklin riding it all the way.
7-5 to 4-4. A big 5 minutes coming up here to halftime. Another clearance. Sewell this time. Bruce couldn't quite trap it. Shields lays a tackle, but it's too high.
Yeah, again, a tough one for Bruce, but you know, they're the ones that generally when Hawks are on song, they take them nice and cleanly. So another Hawthorn player gets an opportunity, but certainly they've lifted. There's no doubt about that.
Grundy got it from Malcheski. Kicks it towards Mumford. Flicked his fingertips, and Showmakers takes it out. 5.5 minutes left to half-time. First versus second on the AFL ladder. Top spot up for grabs. Sydney one game ahead of Hawthorn right now. One win ahead of them. But Hawthorn have them covered percentage-wise. So the Hawks win this, they take over top spot. Sewell got under that a little. Brust has to go. 4 against him. Roughhead stayed down. Used the push-off. Matner caught. No prior opportunity. Searches for the line. Gets away with it.
I know they've been getting away with it, Jason. They're obviously been in terrific form, but in an ideal world, Roughhead really be great to play him deep forward the whole game. I know there's no option, but is that the way you see it also?
Lewis from the pocket in the meantime. Sprays it. Sorry, guys.
Look, it's a little bit of robbing Peter to pay Paul because he's played so well in that secondary ruck role. And what it does do is if he's having a quiet day, it gets him into the game as well.
Jenner's got 2 to beat
Did
here.
you see the body work from Guerra? That was brilliant.
And Burgoyne's been the man.
Yeah, he has been the man. You're right, Dwayne. Absolutely. Burgoyne's up to 40, and this will be his 15th disposal.
He had a loose player on. He had Isaac Smith, so he must be confident about the kick, and he is a very good kick of the footy. But I love the way Guerra took front position away from Jetta. He just ran across in front, and he was going to make it. It was going to be a 2-on-1 anyway, but he took Jetta right out of the contest.
A hush falls over the SCG for the first time tonight. From just outside 50, squeezes it in, and in the blink of an eye, it's a 2-goal game.
Well, he's clearly been the best for the Hawks as far as I'm concerned. 15 possessions, a couple of goals, and that's coming from half-back with a little bit of a run in the midfield. He's been aggressive. He's done the hard yards, and it was great build-up work from Guerra. And you can see here, Isaac Smith, number 16. You'll see him turn around and put his hands up, which is right there, but Burgoyne backed himself, and if you're a beautiful kick of the footy, I love seeing players that are prepared to accept the responsibility of kicking the goal. Another one with a bit of body language.
What a big turnaround though, Dwayne. I mean, it's amazing. You called 2 goals, and I had to look at the scoreboard to see, because it's just been extraordinary. It started a little bit of these centre clearances. They're starting to get some real clean ball out of here.
Kennedy gets them a clearance.
I reckon the best thing is at least we've got a contest now.
Yeah.
Because it was looking very one-sided there to start with.
Stratton, Mitchell, Hodge, Gunston half forward. Johnson used his body, couldn't mark it. Handball misses the target. Shields gets it up. Smith. Little shimmy, Shields. Gunston to the pocket. Suckling outside of the boot. Oh, brilliant! From the top shelf.
Well, I'm not sure you're going to do that every day of the week, Jace, outside the banana kick. But again, you're absolutely right. There's John Longmire. He would be ropeful because they had the game pretty well under control. But good play. Stepped inside. And it's a great finish. It's a great finish. And back to 6 points. And you're absolutely right. We've got a great contest now. And this is what we came to see.
We just see the dominance from inside 50s this term, second quarter here. 18 to the Hawks, who are lamenting on 7 at quarter time. What a turnaround this has been.
Could they take the lead for half-time? Kennedy, another clearance. Birchall was ready for it, played in front, hacks it off the deck. Things are working for them. Gunston marks.
And they've got aggressive off half-back. The way players are attacking the footy. Birchall on that occasion.
Sends it in the Franklin direction. He's got it. Spoil from Richards. Got nothing but ball there. Had he got hands or arms, it would have been a free. Malcheski back. O'Keefe. Bump was Richards. Got the handball. Turnover. Whitecross. Between legs. Shields put his head down. What a hard ball. Through Burgoyne. Puopolo. Franklin to tie the scores. Breathtaking.
Yeah, I'll tell you what looks to me anyway, Ruse, and you might see it differently, but it's almost, I know the score's a level now, so it kind of seems funny, but it's the opposite of what happened in the first term. All of a sudden, it's Sydney coming out of defence who are under pressure. Yeah. They're making mistakes, they're fumbling. How Shields was able to get a kick in amongst 5 players there is beyond me, but then now they've turned the Sydney defence around and they're at a loss to match up.
Well, you can see why the Hawks are premiership favourites, because they've come back in this game so quickly.
Franklin has 3. He has a rest. First game for 6 weeks.
Is that 6 in a row, Dwayne? That's 7 goals to 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were 38 points in front.
Yeah.
From 38 points in front, the score's level in the shadows of half-time, and they're threatening to take the lead right now. Jack, no free.
Look at the pressure now. It's the carbon copy of what happened in the first term.
Well, we saw the inside 50s before in Hawthorn's favour, and it was exactly the opposite in the first quarter.
Not 15, play on, thump to the deck. Whitecross gets there first in the pocket. Jetta.
Very happy to see the boundary line.
Big celebration. Oh,
nearly sheer in front of the goal umpire. And he saw the funny side of it too. Saw the contact coming.
Collateral damage.
Good footwork from the goal umpire.
The goal umpire enjoyed the goal, I think.
He can tell that story to his kids, grandkids later on too. Buddy Franklin run under me.
Hanbury to the wing. Reed kept it in front and takes off.
It's a race.
Goods on the run. Gibson. Goods. Sat for Goods. Hodge makes it a 2-on-1. Goods fought on well. Too clever, Hodge. Played it brilliantly to Sewell, just inside the line.
We're just seeing the Hawks working harder now. You see Luke Hodge, how hard he pushed back to help his teammate.
So he had Roughhead up the line, but that opportunity's gone. He's going to have to go to Hale, and he's outnumbered.
Crowd getting their money's worth now. Hale wouldn't mark.
Should have marked it.
Bird. O'Keefe. Now Reed stands under this. Hanbury off the hands. Guerra had it but left it behind. Kennedy, Lewis, Roberts, Thompson, Jetta obviously wants to come inside onto the right.
Clever kick. Really clever kick.
Just Kennedy too. 2 possessions in that chain.
In fact, up now 20 has taken that.
Kennedy up to 20 possessions.
Swans are going with a loose man here, Ryan O'Keefe, just to stem the bleeding down back, and instantly he has an impact off half-back.
He's such an experienced player, Ryan. He just reads the game really, really well.
20 seconds now.
As the clock ticks down.
A fair beard sprouting out there too.
Shuri.
Kicked 3 goals, 5 this year. Gee, that's beautiful off the boot. That was never in doubt. And the Swans take the lead back.
Yeah, so Josh Kennedy got involved again through the middle of the ground, and the ball went forward, and he got a nice crumb here. We can see it here. Jeddah, really good composure from Jeddah. Didn't blaze away and just hits Malcheski. And Malcheski generally is a pretty good finisher. So, look, the Swans really did need that goal. They were 38 points up, got back to level, and now they've got a goal just to put them 6 points up with 33 seconds to go.
From 38 points up, the scores level to 6 points up again. Top spot on the ladder up for grabs. And the game has been an outstanding game to watch from the outset. Dying seconds. Guerra down to 25, just as the Swans thought they were going forward. Suckling short to Lewis. Needs to get it forward in a hurry. They need a mark from this, the Hawks. Gunston needs to go. O'Keefe thumps it down. Franklin stayed down on the left. Only behind, but he's had a massive influence on this game and this comeback, more importantly.
Yeah, anyone that's even suggested that remotely Hawthorn a better team without Buddy Franklin. They talk about spread of goal kickers and all those sorts of things, but he's an exceptional player.
Dying second. Thumped to the boundary, and it's half-time at the SCG.